Hey, comic book community, Math Boy Comics. Coming here again from sunny Southern California. Just wanted to go through the last few comics or last several comics that I've picked up in just hauls or eBay stuff or local comic book shops, and also dollar bin diving, and also a couple of just you know picks out there to kind of give you guys a heads up as to what I'm looking out for, just to have like an extra copy saved around. Let's see here. So let's just jump right into it. Let's see here. We've got Spider-Man and Deadpool number 8. On the very last page of this book, we've got a cameo by Itsy Bitsy, and she's going to be the recurring villain in this series, at least for the near future, it appears. And the first full appearance here is in number 9. And so I want to show that to you. Just pick these up for cover price. No great bargain there. Then I also picked up an extra copy of Star Wars 21, and also, let's see, Star Wars 23 is the variant cover. This is strictly me speculating on the idea that they're going to have some sort of ongoing story that has to do with the stormtroopers. Now, they showed this in issue 21. Issue 23 really doesn't have anything to do with it, other than the cover being a variant cover, just showing off these particular the stormtrooper group, and they're special. If you're not someone who reads Star Wars, this series, and this is not Darth Vader, the Star Wars series, on the last page of issue 21, the lead stormtrooper in this group, or in the squadron, or in the squad, basically busts out a lightsaber. So obviously, this isn't something that they would just kind of have as a throwaway. I think that they're going to do something similar to those journals of like Obi-Wan Kenobi, where they would just go back. This would kind of be like a filler of stories for the stormtroopers. Let's see here. So this I was able to get in back issues. There's been some buzz about, I believe the person's name is Nightwatch or Nightwatcher. There are two particular issues that you want to look out for. I'm still looking out for the second one, but Web of Spider-Man issue number 97 is the first appearance of Kevin Trench, who becomes Nightwatch. And issue number 99 is the first appearance of him as Nightwatch. So I found this for $3. Now, sticking with the whole Spider-Man theme, I found this in my dollar bin, in a local comic shop dollar bin. I've actually found quite a few things at this particular bookstore / comic shop, and still every time they put out a new bin, I always try to make some time to go through it. So this is issue 344, Amazing Spider-Man, first appearance of Cletus Cassidy. Let's see here. Also in that same dollar bin, I found New Mutants 100. This is the first appearance of the X-Force. And this hopefully may have a little bit of traction once Deadpool 2 comes out, because the rumor is that they may introduce the X-Force in that movie. Let's see here. Now, this is really more of a spec pick for me. Black Mask seems to be... They were all the rage last year, and they've had a couple of titles here that have been hits and misses with We Can Never Go Home or Four Kids in a Bank. I'm still hoping that Four Kids in a Bank kind of turns out, or Four Kids Walk into a Bank turns out as a hit, but I'm not holding my breath at this point. But Black, apparently, I have not yet read it. It's very interesting in the sense that This is some sort of like superhero, social justice conspiracy theory type of thing. And the folks at my local comic shop explained to me that apparently 1/2% of a certain population of the world, will show up with superhuman powers. Now, the 1/2% is only among African Americans or people of African descent. So I believe this is kind of tied to a conspiracy theory in the sense of um, them basically, the government basically identifying kids, who are still adolescents and trying to basically, control the population of this particular demographic before their superhuman powers show up, because as they get loose, then this will basically empower the black community. I'm really excited about reading this. I'll be able to give my opinion about this, but I definitely do plan to just have this be one of those non-Marvel ongoing titles, just like The Walking Dead and also Hench Girl, and also The Fix. So I'll keep you guys in the loop about what I think of this going forward. Let's see here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and put a paperweight on there. Next, we have, okay. So this is this is a dollar bin book. And the reason why I kind of put this there was a while ago, I thought this was a very cool cover. And it's an homage, or it's a cover swipe of Fantastic Four #1, and they have, I believe, down here they would have Reed Richards. I believe, sorry, they also have Johnny Storm where Nova is. I believe Sue Storm is right there, and then the Thing was somewhere else in here. Now, I found this interesting because this particular title, I picked up this book probably at least 7-8 months ago, and these are arguably the founding members, or that's probably not the best way to describe them, but they're the brain trust as to figure out who figured out, hey, we should form the Champions. And so the Champions just came out today. I read that, and let me go ahead and take this book away. And I really love the book. I really like the idea that the younger teens, understand that there's a certain amount of accountability to being a superhero. This is the variant cover that's drawn by Mark Brooks. If you've seen one of my other videos, I believe it was the Comic Collection Part 1. I did highlight the art of Mark Brooks, and it's pretty amazing. I love this cover. I think it's fantastic. I'm not sure. I think it's a 1/10. I might be wrong though. But behind it is the 1/100 Alex Ross variant. So I made it a point to pick this up. The price tag on it was a little high, but because my local comic shop, I do is the business that I do with them, and they have a rewards program. The first $50 of this book was paid for because I stockpile all of my reward dollars. So I was really happy to get this, and I think that this probably is about a 9.4, 9.6 realistically. I've got sharp corners. However, in the lower, I'm going to bring this close here, the lower right hand corner, let's see if I can get some light also. I've got a little bit of a rub. So, if this thing came back as a 9.4 or a 9.6, I'd completely understand why. So, but I am very happy to to get a hold of this. It was always my plan to pick this book up. I was down at the San Diego Comic-Con at Alex Ross's booth, and he had all his art up. And I saw this, and I said I have to have this book or this particular cover, so I picked it up. Now going back over to just hitting up different retail shops, looking in their back bins trying to find stuff. I was lucky enough to find two copies of Vision number one, first full appearance of Viv Vision, who is on Champions. I also was lucky to find a second print of Vision number four. And, these books are probably like 10, 12, $15 books on eBay, depending on like what day you catch it at. And I was happy to find issue number six. The important thing to know about this particular title, and I'll talk about another title also, um, is the low print run. The low print run, as well as the fact that it's been very well received by the people who've read it, and that it's been nominated for awards and whatnot. The first three issues of this 12 issue title, they printed around 40,000 copies, and then starting with number four, going all the ways, and we're currently at issue number 11. They've been going a bit under 20,000 copies each, and I mean that's, it's not low like some, like a variant low, but I mean for a book that is as been as well received as it has, 20,000 copies is pretty low. So Tom King has also said, and this is the same Tom King that writes for Batman right now. He's finishing up at 12, and then he's pretty much done. So he will be done with this particular series in, I believe, the later part of October. So I found this for cover as well. Now we've got, I was able to find for cover three copies of Deadpool Secret War number three. Now, if you have been looking at all the other YouTubers out there, Mercenauts one, I believe. There are a couple other folks that that I want to give some credit to. I just can't recall who else had found this out. Apparently, Deadpool, they decided to retcon the Secret Wars that was circa 1984. And so if I understand this correctly, um, prior to um, prior to the symbiote going to Peter Parker and Spider-Man, he found his way to Deadpool. And if you read this particular series, Deadpool kind of shows up in the background in the 1984 Secret Wars. And so this is basically where the symbiote, um, you know, takes a hold of Deadpool and then bails on the body because basically Deadpool's too much of a freak show, and this basically, if you're looking at the continuity of time, this is apparently the first time that you have this concept of Deadpool back in black. And the reason why it's significant too is simply because they have that limited series of Deadpool Black back in black. I think it's like 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 6, or it's like a 6 book series or a 4 book series. But these are apparently going on. They're going for about $15 to $20 right now on eBay. So just want to point that out. And I do plan to unload at least two of these, if not the third one as well. Then I also saw the Jessica Jones #1. I bought this really more because of the white cover. I want to make it a point to, and this is a Mike Diodato cover. I think that they plan to have one. Um, I believe they plan to have one like for Luke Cage and for a couple other folks. I'm curious because what I'd like to do is I'd like to be able to have one for each of the folks on the Netflix universe. So the white cover I was totally drawn to that, and I haven't read this book yet. I'm curious if it ties back to to what's on the Netflix universe. And lastly, before I show it, or actually I will show it right now, I was able to find an NYX3. I was really happy with this. There's kind of a long story to this, but um, basically I found this guy on eBay, and being here in Southern California, obviously on eBay it shows where the seller's from, and it showed a town that was literally right next door to where I live. And so I sent him a message and I basically broke it down to him and I said, look, for whatever you're asking, right off the top, eBay is going to basically swipe 10% off that for seller fees. Furthermore, they're going PayPal's basically going to take another 3.75%. So, if you're opening your auction at $300, technically my $300 in cash, if we meet in person for me to buy this book from you, translates to something roughly around 345 bucks. Could I have found this book for cheaper? Probably not. I was over at the Long Beach Comic Con, and there was one vendor who was basically trying to sell me a book that looked like a pretty solid 7.5 for about $280, but he was originally asking $340 for it. Do I What do I believe the grade of this book is? I'd probably say it's a solid 9294. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on its side, and in the upper corner you'll probably see some white right in that corner. So that's one very noticeable ding against it. The other one is here in the corner. Um, there's some rub also, very similar to that Champions Alex Ross book. So those two things, I'm gonna get this pressed. But if this book came back a 9.2 or a 9.4, 9.2, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be upset. If it came back a 9.4, I would actually be pretty. I'd be pretty happy. If this thing came back a 9.6, which I wouldn't think it would be, I'd be over the moon. So I'm just gonna switch this over just uh, for better books to look at. So yeah, this was my haul. Actually, let me go ahead and tell one other story that has to do with this NYX. The Just a couple hours prior to finding this on eBay, I was at a local comic shop, the one where I found that first Cletus Cassidy, and they had a wall book there, and it was a Hulk 180. And so Hulk 180, just to throw it out there, it's the cameo appearance, first cameo of Wolverine. This book was probably a 5560, and they were asking $100 for it. And I sat there and I told myself, do I want to get that? Do I want to spend $100 to get it? And I told myself it's one of those things where it's like I don't want to have a quasi first appearance. Like, to me, a first full appearance is a first full appearance. And that will always trump the appearance in cameo, where it's like one or two panels basically. So that's really why I decided not to get it. Not just that, but the idea that it was also, it is kind of an ironic thing in the sense that I'm not a real big fan of Wolverine. Granted, I do like some of the stories that have been written for him, particularly the Mark Millar Old Man Logan story. However, Wolverine himself, I'm not like over the moon about. But I say that I use the word ironic in the sense that I actually am really big about Laura Kinney. So this number 3 actually completes my run. I do have number 4 that's currently in the grading process over at CGC. I do plan to press this NYX3 and get this graded. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be heartbroken if I don't get a 9.6 or a 9.8. I pretty much know what I'm getting when I send stuff off, or I have a pretty good expectation. If I really wanted to search for a 9.8, I'd be going to particular stores and particular vendors and paying the premium for those raw 9.8s. So just want to share this haul with you guys, and wanted to tell you guys to just keep on hunting out there, and take a look to see, spend the time to basically look in those dollar bins, and you never know what you find. All right, good luck to everybody, and hope to, and also see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot.